Super Mario Odyssey is the Mario 64 sequel that I've always wanted since 1996. To this day, Mario 64 is my favorite Mario game and one of my top 5 games of all time. But each of its successors, as incredible as they are, always fell short in some way. Sunshine was clearly rushed for the struggling GameCube and was jam-packed with padding in the form of blue coins. The tropical setting and FLUDD was awesome, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted from a sequel to my beloved Mario 64. I thought Mario Galaxy would be the answer, as it seemed to resemble Mario 64 more than Sunshine did, at least on the surface, but in the end, the linear design of the levels provided a different experience from the more sandbox-style 64 and Sunshine. While the games were awesome, the two Galaxy games couldn't quite scratch that 64 sequel itch. With Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, Nintendo seemed to be moving further and further away from what I was looking for from 3D Mario, going as far as to add a run button to the games and flagpoles at the end of each linear course. It felt like 3D Mario was devolving back to the 2D Mario games, rather than evolving from the groundbreaking experience Mario 64 provided back in 1996. After 21 years, my prayers have been answered. Mario Odyssey takes the open-style course design of Mario 64, and Yoshiaki Koizumi and his team pretty much have their way with it. I'm going to avoid spoilers in this video because I think all of you watching this right now need to experience this game fresh for yourselves. As of right now, I've played around 10 hours of the game, 8 of which were getting through the main story, and the last 2 was just poking around at the game's post-game content. And it feels like I've only just scratched the surface of what this massive game has to offer. The most important part of any Mario platformer is how it feels to play. The controls, the movement, the abilities that Mario can pull off. I'm happy to say that Mario Odyssey stands alongside Mario 64 and Sunshine when it comes to character movement. Mario is fast, fluid, has little to no lag on all of his jumps and moves. Most of all, he's just really fun to control. There were moments in Odyssey where I found myself just jumping around, messing around with the cap throw move, and taking in just how fluid Mario's movement was. This all culminates with the actual level objectives and the sheer amount of freedom you have to tackle them in different ways depending on how comfortable you are with Mario's movements and abilities. There were many aha moments with this game where I just tried something crazy and it ended up working. A lot of this experimentation and freedom was lost in those linear 3D Marios like Galaxy or 3D World, so I'm happy to see this style of gameplay make a comeback. I can only imagine what crazy strategies some speedrunners are coming up with right now. Cappy is such an awesome addition to the game. It's basically the transformations from Banjo-Kazooie on crack. There are tons of enemies to take control of, and even though you lose all of Mario's moves, the fluid movement and tight control still remain for every unique character, and attacks and jumps are always satisfying. Okay, maybe besides the T-Rex, but what do you expect? It's a freaking T-Rex. Look at this thing, it's huge. I don't want to say too much more because honestly, it's hard to keep going without getting into specifics. So let me quickly go into rapid fire, gushing fanboy mode. The art direction is masterful, as you'd expect by now from the 3D Mario team. The soundtrack is incredible, and the orchestrated themes are exciting, powerful, and sometimes they're even chilling. The level designs are awesome and each stage is completely unique. There are a lot of moons to collect, but the variety offered with each level means I never got fatigued because you're never doing the same things over and over again. The pacing in this game is perfect. There aren't many games out there that I can play for 8 hours straight and still want to keep going, but Mario Odyssey is definitely one of them. Finally, I'll end with this little nugget. The post-game for Mario Odyssey is legitimately sublime, and the best post-game I've ever played outside of maybe Pokemon Gold and Silver. You need to experience it, especially if you're a longtime Mario fan. In summary, Mario Odyssey is a masterpiece. I was asked if I could come up with some faults that I had with the game, and I honestly had a hard time coming up with even one. it's pretty much a flawless game in my book. But your overall enjoyment of the game will probably depend on just how big a fan you are of the open world 3D Mario style. Now, I can't finish this video without mentioning a score, right? Or Game of the Year speculation, and of course, is it better than Zelda? You know, it's funny because when I finished playing through Breath of the Wild my first time, I came away with a handful of problems that I had with the game. My 8 out of 10 score that I gave the game kind of reflected that. As great as Breath of the Wild was, it definitely had some flaws in my opinion. I honestly don't have any such problems with Odyssey. Nothing immediately jumped out at me upon finishing the game, aside from a feeling of satisfaction and pure joy. For that reason, I have to say that I enjoyed Odyssey a lot more than Breath of the Wild. Super Mario Odyssey gets a 10 out of 10 from me. It's essential playing. Yoshiaki Koizumi is God. Bow down to him and his team. This is your 2017 Game of the Year. For the love of God, go buy a Switch if you don't already have one. Buy this game and play it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit that like button and subscribe button, and take care.